Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry for the long delay. I got sick right after I did my last report, and then I had a lot of family issues coming up, so it took a long time for me to get this report up. I'm here. This is game two of the practice tournament we had about 3 weeks ago now, and this is going to be against Wood Elves. Scenario for this game was you chose a core unit, one of your core units. If you could get that into your enemy's deployment zone, you got 2 extra battle points. And you also got 2 more battle points if you kept your most expensive unit above half strength at the end of the game. For me, I'm choosing my Savage Orcs, of course, my big ones, and my opponent's going to choose one of his little units of Glade Guard to be the unit to try to get across. And also, my Savage Orcs are most expensive unit. His most expensive unit will be his Wildwood Rangers. Take a quick look at my list. My opponent said that he was not looking forward to playing against Orcs with the army he had. He's not really playing an avoidance style list, which you expect from Wood Elves. He's still playing, I think, a strong list, but it's not just completely avoiding everything you do. His comp is going to come in at, I think his was a 15 and mine's 13.4, so he's going to start out with, no, I think he was a 15.1, so I think he's starting out with like 170 points ahead of me in victory point difference. And now that we're looking at his army, like I said, he's not really playing an avoidance style list. He does still have the level 4. I can't remember all his items he had. I know he had a scroll, 4+ ward on his level 4. I don't know if his Wave Stalker had a magic bow. I think it maybe just had True Flight. I know he had Potion of Strength on his Shadow Dancer. And I was real surprised, but I was real worried about things like Glade Riders and things like that getting behind my lines. But he only has the 1 unit of Wild Riders, and from what he's told me in his other games, he could always get that unit behind the lines right off the bat, so I was going to try to keep him from doing that against me. He also, from Storm Magic, he's going to have a Hippogriff and a Fin Beast, and I'm not sure if it was either 28 or 38 Wildwood Rangers. It's somewhere around in there. So we start looking at my deployment, and also for my spells, like I said, the same 5 spells every time. I think this time, though, my level 4 had the Foot of Gorks, I had to be a little bit careful about 6 dice in that one. And I'm feeling good about keeping his Wildwood Rangers and getting behind my lines right off the bat, because I look like I'm pretty much spread across the board here. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. And also, being spread out like this, I think it's going to make it difficult. If he was going to play avoidance, it would make it difficult. But he's not really playing avoidance, so it can be hard for him to get away from a lot of my troops. And this is the rest of my deployment. I have both my monsters here like this because he had his Wildwood Rangers across from them, and I know they get double attacks, but I thought, the 2 monsters coming in with thunderstorms and everything, plus it always strikes first on the first one, I could do a lot of damage, and I didn't want him just to be shooting down these monsters, with all his arrows and stuff. Even though you need like 6s to wound, with this many shots, they can make them combat effective pretty easily if they wanted to. And I was just like, well, I'll just have them go against the Wildwood Rangers and, just assess and see how they could do against them. And so we see his deployment. Like I said, there's his Wildwood Rangers. And he's got the unpainted model as a Hippogriff. And I think that's what he also has here to counteract the fact that I have 2 monsters coming in as Wildwood Rangers. He can try to have the Hippogriff come in and give them support. And here's the rest of his deployment. He has all 3 of his 3 of his 4 characters in this unit of War Dancers. The level 2s were the Wildwood Rangers. And that wood there is the wood he gets for being Wood Elves. The Treekin is really a Fin Beast, and it's true, I think that Treekin are really good stand-ins for Fin Beasts because they look a lot like them. Maybe you could hang some moss off them or otherwise, if you wanted to completely have them look like that. But I think as they are, they look a lot like Fin Beast as it is. And so this is basically what it looks like after Vanguards and his Scouts. I don't Vanguard too much. I have my Wolves. I think he'll go backwards a little bit because I didn't want him to charge them and then panic the War Machine or just overrun into the War Machine. So I don't Vanguard them. I move them back, and for some reason I always think Wolf Riders are going to do better than they are. I forget that they not only he has always strikes first, but also fear the Elves. So the Wolf Riders aren't going to really do anything. I should have just had them up here, just hunt archers or something, or have them archers shoot at them or something instead. So I win turn to go first. As you already can see up there, I Vanguarded my big boss, and then I forgot that he couldn't charge. So I charged him in the flank of the Wild Riders, and he makes the charge here. the spoilers, he's going to get killed, but I'd forgotten that I should not have been able to charge. And it would probably have been better for me not to charge. I should have just had him holding up those Wild Riders instead of just charging in. My mind was thinking, oh, I'll just go in, you know, one guy attacking, nothing will happen. I'll strike back. If I can kill one guy, I'll win. I can maybe break those Wild Riders off the bat. Yeah, so that this is not a good plan. And also, I moved the Savages up when I shouldn't have moved them up. I should have had them back, hanging back, so that the Wild Riders couldn't, get around them so easily. So over here, Bloodstallion's boys, they charge into these scouts. His standing shot shoots does no damage to me. My mind was thinking that I would make short work of these scouts, but again, this was a bad plan. But I don't know what else I could have done with these harpies. I mean, unless they were fighting the eagle, I don't know what else they could have really done. Maybe get to the archers, but by that time they would have been dead. So this is magic, and yeah, I was wrong. My level 1 does have the Foot of Gork here. And he's going to Foot of Gork onto the War Dancers. Again, this is supposed to be open list, but I forgot to ask. This is when I found out he has magic resistance 3 in that unit with the War Dancers. So I do 2 stomps. The first stomp I just put it right on the War Dancers and it only kills 1. The second one I probably put onto the archers in front, and it scatters off, and I think it kills 1 archer and maybe 1 more War Dancer, and then the spell goes away. So this was not a good beginning to the Foot of Gork. And as you can already see here, this is when combat's over and I've lost the big boss. They killed the big boss before I can even strike. So yeah, that wasn't good. But it's all going to be made up for because in shooting, I put the Doom Diver on those War Dancers. I kill enough War Dancers so that he no longer gets lookout stars for his characters. I put Rock Lobos right on his level 4. First Rock Lobo, direct hit. He has no lookout star. He fails his ward. I kill his level 4 right off the bat, top of turn 1. And I think this completely changes the outlook of the game. Not only is his general dead, but like the bulk of his magic is gone right off the bat. So despite all the little mistakes I made early on, I think this all makes up for it. And finally for this turn, yeah, his scouts make quick work of my harpies. They kill all of them before I can even strike. So we have Wood Elf turn 1. He's moving his Hippogriff and Eagle here, trying to get my flank. He puts his shots into those Wolf Riders in the woods, but they do not panic. They pass their panic test. And, his magic, he does something, I think, to Savage Orcs. I think he's trying to keep them from moving or something, but I'm able to spell it because all he has left now is a level 2. It might have been a level 1. I think it's a level 2 of life that he has. And so here, also in magic, one of the spells he tries, or maybe this is the only spell he tried, he miscast, and the big template comes up here and kills like 9 of his guys or something. And I think what he's doing, he's putting 5+ regen on them. So yeah, this is also very bad for him. He doesn't wound his level 2 as far as I know, but yeah, he took out like about probably 25 to 30% of his unit right off the bat. And then over here, basically he's putting his characters into the unit of Glade Rod, not the Glade Rod, Glade Guard, to try to protect them because those War Dancers are no longer giving him Lookout Sir. And I think this is one of the things he was worried about against me because Foot of Gork and Doom Drivers and stuff can take him below 5 models so quickly with the army he has that his characters can start to get sniped pretty quickly. So my turn 2, I charged the Duke of Orc, Ragnarok, and a Chariot, all his Wildwood Rangers. The Ragnarok fails the charge. Of course the Ragnarok fails the charge. But the other 2 make it in. The Chariot comes in here and just tears them up. Duke of Orc tears them up. But going through the woods, I do 2 wounds to myself with the Chariot. But they kill the Chariot, but I just really decimate that unit. They do absolutely nothing to me, even with double attacks. So yeah, they're still steadfast, but I've really taken a chunk out of them. So now we're going to go to his turn 2, and as you can see here, he wipes out some Wolf Riders and a Troll and a few Savage Orcs here and there with his shooting, but there's so many Savage Orcs that he's kind of ignoring the big ones because he's really not going to get, they're not going to panic, and getting them below 25% for the high points is going to be very difficult. So he was mainly picking on the regular Savage Orcs that only have a 6-up ward, and they're still worth a good chunk of points if they get below half. And you can see in the combat here, again, Duke of Orc, even though he's by himself, he really puts a hurting on these Wildwood Rangers, even though he takes 3 wounds. And they were still barely steadfast, so those stick around for at least 1 more turn. Yeah, so now you see his wild riders have swung around and got behind my lines here. I think he's probably taking a war machine out with them, or his scouts have taken a war machine out already. My Doom Diver had hit them last turn, but only was able to kill one. So now he's behind my lines, and he can really start causing havoc with them. So we go to my turn 3, and I forgot to mention, in his turn, he had charged his Hippogriff at my Ragnarok. My Ragnarok kills it, only to take 1 wound to my Ragnarok. So now this time I charge my Ragnarok into the Wildwood Rangers. I'm able to get corner to corner on the side. Hand of Gork, my savages up here. Um, no, they charge a Fen Beast, not Hand of Gork. They charge a Fen Beast, and this is their overrun because they kill the Fen Beast. And the overrun takes them up like this. I take my level 1 out of the Goblins because I was a little bit worried about the Wildwood Rangers coming up to get them. And I kind of forget, I'm fighting what else, and now he's going to be a pincushion. So it's either take my chances with the Wild Riders or be pincushion. I probably should have just stayed in the Goblin unit. And so as far as my shooting goes, you can see I killed some more Wildwood Rangers, but he still has 2 left. I still get no points for them because I need to get them down to 1 model left because 2 models is still 33%. So either kill these last 2 or kill 1 to get any points out of them. So now as we go into his turn 3, he had charged, I want to say it was a Shadow Dancer, into the flank of my Savage Orcs. He's trying to assassinate my level 4 because he had the Poison of Strength. I just challenged with my champion. I think he kills the champion, but no, actually I don't think he kills the champion. I think I actually kill his Shadow Dancer, and that's why I'm able to reform like this because he doesn't break and run, he's just killed, and so I reform to face his unit has his other 3 characters in it. And as you can also see, I've finally taken out the rest of those Wildwood Rangers, and only his level 2 was left. It broke and ran. I was forced to pursue because my Duke of Wark was frenzied, and so it actually got away, but now my Duke of Wark's pretty much out of it for right now. I'm going to have to charge that level 2 again to get the points for it. And so when we're going to the rest of his turn, he does kill my level 1 with his shots from his bows and stuff, and that panics these goblins here and makes them run. uh, I should have just kept the level 1 in the goblin unit. And he puts more shots into my Ragnarok and does a couple more wounds to it. But overall, I'm doing really well there now. But the rest of the stuff to get points, the rest of the stuff is gonna be kind of difficult. He's moved his one of his characters out of his unit here of Glayguard to make it difficult for my savages to get it. I think that was his Waystalker. I think that's what it's called. So my turn 4, he has War Dancers in front of his Glade Guard unit. Savages charge the War Dancers. Ragnarok charges that little archer unit. Duke of Orc charges the level 2. And kills it, and that's where he's going to end up. The Goblins, I don't think they rally. They just keep running. And I'm not sure if that little other unit is in combat with the Troll or not. I don't think they're in combat yet. I think they just moved up and they're going to charge the next turn. But yeah, it's not looking good for the Wood Elves, but other than his level 4, I really haven't killed a lot of points. I've killed a lot of stuff, but it's been a lot of low point stuff. And at the same time, you're not seeing these pictures, his scouts and stuff are coming around and starting to take out my war machine. So, he's kind of evening it up on points, even though I still have a ton of stuff on the board. His stuff is so low value that it's not a lot of it, but I really haven't gotten a lot of points other than his 2 characters and his Wildwood Rangers. So at the end of my turn 4, I do not get all the War Dancers out. They actually have a guy there and they hold. The Ragnarok takes out the archers, and this is where I think they run off the table and he pursues them to there. So yeah, again, I'm being held up by the War Dancers, and I need to get to those characters and stuff to get more points to really have a victory here and not basically a small victory. So bottom of his turn 4, this is when he does charge the Troll, and the Troll is going to break. It's not going to get killed, but it's going to break and get away. And not much really else happens in his turn, and the archers he has left are shooting my Savage Orcs, trying to get them to 1/3, and I think his Waystalker is doing the same thing. I'm not sure what the Wild Riders are doing. I know his scouts are and stuff are still picking at my Ragnarok, and I think at this point he's got it down to where 4 wounds off of it, so he's got half points for that. And there's 1 wound left on my Duke of Orc, and the scouts over there are going to spend the rest of this game shooting at that Duke of Orc, trying to take that 1 wound off of it. And we'll find out what happens before the end of the game. Can I keep making regen saves? So far, I'm making them. So my turn 5, I start moving things around to try to get to the stuff he has left. Duke of Orc's coming up this way. Ragnarok's turning around. The Troll's still fleeing. The Goblin's still fleeing. And you can see how much damage he did last turn to my regular Savage Orcs with the shooting he had left. And this was like with a unit of archers engaged. The other and both 2 units of archers engaged. One, wiped out with the Ragnarok. The other one had been fighting the troll. Just 2 units in the Waystalker. That's what it did to my Savage Orcs this turn. And finally this time I'm gonna take out the rest of his War Dancers. So hopefully I can get in there and take out that archer unit. But by now I think all he has left in there is just a unit, because the Waystalker is gone out. I killed the level 4 and I've killed his Shadow Dancer, so they're only worth the regular archer points. So bottom of turn 5, his Wild Rider is going to charge and take out this troll. The other little archer unit that's come over the hill, that's the one, if it gets to my deployment zone, he gets 2 battle points. I actually think if I kept it out of my deployment zone, I got about a point, but I no longer have anything to deal with that archer unit. I cannot catch up to it with what I have. And so my savages are now in his deployment zone. I'm charging that last unit of archers he has with the Ragnarok and the Savage Orcs. It's overkill, but what else am I going to do with them? I want to get those Ragnarok as far away from the rest of his shooting as I can, because those scouts are really starting to do a number on my guys here. So into this turn, of course I take out the archer unit. I think my Duke of Orc charged the scouts actually, just to try to get them taken out with a terror test or something. And I think this is when they finally kill him. I'd made tons of regen saves, and I think they only did 1 wound, and I failed the regen save, and he finally dies. So he was going to die at some point. I was just trying to get him to take out the main threat to him. Get him to take out those scouts, which was the main threat. And if he had done that, he probably would have survived. So now they're going to get full points for the Duke of Orc, and they're getting half points for the Ragnarok. And his War Dancer had done 1 wound to my Battle Standard. I forgot about that. So he's getting half points for the Battle Standard as well. So this is my last turn. There's really nothing I can do. The Savage Orcs, he's got to, at this point, I think he has to kill 5 of them to get half points for them. He's got 1 unit of regular Glade Guard, 2 units of Scouts, and his Waystalker. They can all shoot at them. I have nothing that can do anything to him. I have Footogork was at my level 1. I think I've lost my Doom Diver and a Rock Lava. I think I have 1 Rock Lava left. Maybe. I don't know if the Eagle's fighting it or not. So all he really has left is that little bit of shooting and his Eagle, which is at half strength. But he can get a good amount of points here if he can kill 5 savages on the bottom of his turn. Let's see what happens. So this is bottom of his turn. As you can see, I only have 6 savages left, and that actually was what he needed, because I had 28 to start with. So he had to get him less than 7. He got exactly what he needed. All the shooting comes in there, and he's able to get those savages below 25% by 1 model. So he'll get half points for the savages, pretty much to end the game here. And even though I have a ton of stuff left, it's going to want to be closer than you think, because he's getting a big chunk of points from the difference in our scores, our composition scores. I want to say he was either 15 or 15.2, something like that. So I think he's either 160, 180 points ahead to start with. So I'm going to win, I think, by about 200, close to 200, but it's not quite enough to make it a real good victory. So this is going to finish, I think it's going to be, I think it's a 14-12. So when we add this up, this is like, it's basically a 14-12 moral victory for the Orcs. If I could have kept Duke of Orc alive and had a better composition score, I probably could have got a couple more points. And not being able to, there's no way I could catch that little unit of archers that got across the board into my deployment zone. I mean, it gave him 2 points, but it took a point away from me as well. So he didn't have a lot of stuff left, but getting a lot of half points for me, since my stuff was worth a lot more, it really evened things up. Um, I think I played really well. I've made a few mistakes at the beginning, but I thought my monsters did great. My minions did pretty good. I mean, they took out a Fen Beast, a character, and 2 units. I mean, he didn't have a lot of points to take up. And the only big point unit he had was the Wobbly Rangers, and my monsters took care of them. So there wasn't a lot of points for the Savages to pick up anyway. They were just basically keeping a lot of points from him, taken away from me. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty good game. This is the first time I played against Wood Elves, the new Wood Elves anyway. I'm glad it wasn't an avoidance list. I think if it was a complete avoidance list, I would have had a real tough time getting points at all. As it was still tough because his points was so low for everything. Yeah, this was pretty fun. I didn't hate Wood Elves after playing them, which I think, seeing a lot of all the battle reports, I think if I'm in those kind of lists, I would have just hate Wood Elves. So I still don't like Wood Elves. I mean, I hate all elves, to be honest, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. So this is a small victory, and my reward for this small little 14-12 is I'm gonna have to play the winner of Brawler Bash in my game 3 for all the marbles. And technically, neither one of us can win first place, even though we've won both of our games. But this is gonna be, the third game. Hopefully, it won't take too long for me to make this last battle report. But you'll see what happens when 13.4 Orc list plays against the 13.9 Warriors of Chaos list. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for listening.